Hello and welcome to Spirit Island with Jonathan. Today we are going to take a look at a spirit from the expansion Horizons of Spirit Island. This is a target exclusive expansion that was released a couple of months ago that includes, among other things, 2 new boards, G and H, and 5 new spirits. And today we are going to focus on this spirit, Devouring Teeth Lurk Underfoot. Now, I haven't looked at any strategy guides or opening guides or anything like that, but I do have studied the growth options and the presence tracks. And the first thing that we can note here is we do have 3 growth options, all which have add a presence, which means we can end up in a reclaim loop here and just play our powers, our favorite powers, and still add presence. And that is quite powerful. Especially if we have such a good innate that we do have, as we have here, that approaches from beneath the surface. This do 2 damage, 2 damage, and 4 damage, to a total of 8 damage and 2 fear, if we can hit the lowest level here. So that begs the question, how can we achieve that? Well, if you take a look at the tracks, we can see that we can either go 3 card plays. And if we do that, we need 2 more animals here, so we need both those animals on the tracks. So that basically means we need to go 3 card plays and this animal here from the top track. So that is 8 presence that we need to put out before we can hit that lowest level innate. Or we can, instead of that plan, we can go 4 card plays. And since we have an animal here, that is 5 animal. So we will be able to do that in 6 turns here if we put out 1 presence per turn. So that is the 2 basic plans, and I think this last plan here is probably the most powerful one. Not only will we get the innate faster here, just from 6 turns, but also we can get this earth here, which will be useful to hit, because we need 2 earth here, and at the same time we need both fire and animal. And since these 2 earth powers that we have, they don't include fire, so that is a problem if we want to hit that innate here. And also, if you take a look at the top track, we do have already 2 energy per turn. That's quite a lot, but also it is quite slowly increasing. We don't get that much value here for adding at the top track. It will take some time before we can get up to 6 energy here. That's 5 presence that we need to add. And instead we can simply go the 3rd growth option once or twice if we need to, if we need more energy. And I think that's a much more easy approach to getting energy. So I think what we're going to do is just go bottom track to 4 card plays, and we will try to add minors here as much as possible. Why minors and not majors? Well, first, if we're not going top track, we won't have much energy. And secondly, our special rule here makes our damage dealing powers do +1 damage, and this means if we do have minors that do 1 damage, they suddenly becomes twice as powerful. So it makes sense to have a lot of small minors that do a little bit of damage instead of 1 major. So that is going to be our strategy. We go bottom track, we will add minors, and we will simply try to hit our innate as much as possible, and we won't hesitate to reclaim if we need to play our favorite powers. Now, what about these powers? Well, we can see that Ferocious Rampage here is quite powerful. We can do 4 damage here for just 2 energy. If we compare that to Lightning's Shatter Homesteads, for example, this only destroys 1 town for 2 energy and 1 fear. We can do that fast with Swift of Lightning, but still, I think Ferocious Rampage do 1 fear and 2, we can destroy 2 towns here easily, and this range 0 is not that difficult since we can move a presence here with this innate in the slow phase, and also we can put out a presence every turn here, so it's not that difficult to set this up. All our powers is actually 0 range, but I don't think this is going to be much of a problem. Gift of Furious Might is one interesting power. Now that we play solo, we can use it on ourselves, which means that 1 power gets an additional +3 damage. This means we can do very much damage in one and the same land, and this only for 1 energy, so it's quite powerful. We have Heard Towards the Lurking Maw. This can take care of a build. And finally we have Marked Territory with Scars and Teeth. This is a defend 9, and at first glance this looks really powerful, but we need to keep in mind that we have to push to the Han away from this land, so it's not as powerful as it might seem at first. But still, it is defend 9. It takes care of a ravage in a bad spot if we have a cascade coming up or something like that, and we also get 2 fear. Now it's kind of expensive, so we probably don't want to play it unless we absolutely need to. So that is Devouring Teeth Lurk Underfoot, and we are going to play this against an adversary. Now, in the past I have played every spirit against 5 adversaries, England, France, Scotland, Habsburg and Russia. And I'm going to, from now on, only play every spirit against 3 adversaries, because simply there are so many spirits and so little time to play. So from these 5 adversaries, I have to cut 2 of them. And the ones I have decided to cut is Habsburg. Habsburg is warping the game quite a lot, I think, with especially the escalation and the durable towns. So it makes the game quite different than a normal Spirit Island game. So this is one, I don't think it's that powerful. I mean, it can be swingy games because of the irreparable damage, loss condition and whatnot. But you can quite easily win against this adversary if you play against his weakness. So we are going to ditch this adversary for now, and also we are going to remove Russia. Russia is similar in that it can be swingy if we do have an unlucky card here, in especially in the trench of the Face of Fear. We get a card in the build phase, and depending on what card that is, it can really swing the game one way or another. Also, the explorers that cannot die, they are quite game changing. It means you have to play this in an entirely different way, and some spirits are better. If you have explorer control, they are much better, and some are much worse. I think in general this is quite one of the easier adversaries. I don't say it is easy, but usually if you win against Russia, you win quite fast. I think I have won most of my games against Russia in very few turns, maybe 4, 5, 6 turns in average. You don't usually play a long game against Russia. You usually win in one of the first fear levels. So instead we are going to focus on the 3 adversaries, that is France. France is one of the easier adversaries, so this will be my easy adversary that I start with, and then we will have our medium adversary, which is Scotland. This is quite a beefy adversary, put out a lot of towns and cities, buildings, but it doesn't warp the game so much as the others. And same with England, this is our toughest adversary. This still warps the game a bit with his extra health and whatnot, but it is consistently difficult, and I want to have one of the more difficult adversaries in the rotation. So this is the 3 adversaries that I'm going to play with from now on: in France, Scotland and England. So today's game is going to be against France now. So let's get started with this game. Let's get a random board and start game.
Initial explore, jungles.
And we have the Persistent Explorer. Let's add it here where we have buildings.
Turn 1, grow phase.
So let's go bottom track then, and let's add a power card here. Since the other option to get an energy, we don't really need it. And we're not going to play defend 9. And we probably don't need to play 2 of these powers right now. So let's focus on getting some minors here to start with. And what we're looking at is animal and fire, of course, and maybe some earth if possible. Now we didn't get quite the powers that we would want to see, but we did get a defend card, and I think that is quite powerful. So let's get that one, I think. And let's add a presence. Now, where do we want to add this one? We want to add it somewhere. We probably want to play Ferocious Rampage, I believe, because we don't want to add Defend. We don't really need Hurt towards the Lurking Maw here, unless we want to gather the Explore here, which could be a good option. But Ferocious Rampage can take care of that Explore or that build that will happen. At least it can take care of this in this land. So maybe we will add this presence here, and then with this power we can move it in here and then play Ferocious Ravage in this land. That will take care of that Ravage there next turn. Or alternatively, we can use it to take care of the Explore. That will be in mountains, wetlands, or sands. So one of these will have 2 explorers, which we can kill with Ferocious Rampage. That will take care of the build and the Ravage that comes afterwards. So that might be even better. But let's add it here anyway. That means we can move it in here to set up a defense here next turn with Scepter Strength.
Play powers.
So I'm going to play Ferocious Rampage, and now we don't have energy to play anything else except of Sap of Strength, but we don't have this for this turn. We don't have any Ravages, so I think we'll only play this guy. Now that means we don't have the innate, but that's okay. I think this is good how I'm going to start the game.
Build jungles.
So we have a town and we have a city, and these are not applicable.
Explore wetlands.
We have an explorer, and this is 2 explorers, and then we have a persistent explorer. Let's add it here.
Slow powers.
And now we can either kill those explorers and take care of that build, or we can move this one in here and take care of that Ravage. Now, since we did get a defense card, I think what I'm going to do is we are going to kill those explorers. 1 fear and 3 damage. 4 damage actually, quite a little bit of over damage there, but it's okay. And then we are going to use this innate, or this innate to move that presence in here. And so we can set up Scepter Strength next turn there.
Turn 2. Grow phase.
And for this turn, let's gain another power. We simply have an opportunity to get a lot of minor powers here, so let's do that. We want animal. One of these maybe. Gift of Constancy is also pretty good, but since we do have Reclaim and Add a Presence, this becomes a little bit less important. So I think I'm going to go with Bat's Scout here. Because this adds a blight, and this can be nasty if we do it every turn in a reclaim loop. It will be a lot of blight. So let's do this one. This also adds a damage that can be boosted with our special roll. And the presence, we probably want to add it maybe here so that we can defend here. We do have an options to play both defense here and take care of both the Ravages. What is the option? Let's see, we add this from the bottom track.
Play powers.
Somewhere, and then we play Scepter Strength of Multitudes. And now is the question, can we hit the innate here somehow? We do need 4, we do need 2 fire for that, and we don't have an option to do that, so let's not focus on the innate. Let's just see what best we can use our powers for. This can destroy a town. That doesn't really do much right now. This can defend this land, like I said. That's probably what I'm going to do, but we also have this guy. We can use this to take care of one of the explorers, but now we have to keep in mind that when he explores with 2 explorers. So if he either goes sands or mountains here, it will be 2 explorers, and we cannot really prevent that with this power. And then we have Gift of Fury's Might, but we don't have any powers. So I think what I'm going to do is mark territory with Scars and Teeth. Defend 9, that means we can add this in here. We add, what was this option? So we do have 1 from our presence here. So we can do that. We can defend 9, we don't have any the hand, push, and we get 2 fear. I think that is what I'm going to do.
Fast powers.
So this is defend 9, 2 fear, and this is defend 5.
Event.
Bureaucrats are just funding. On each board with 9 or more, we don't have that. So let's move on. 2 fear per board with 2 more, we don't have that either. When invaders ravage, if the land has both Tahan and presence, defend 5. So we do have a little bit more defense here, it doesn't really matter.
Ravage. Jungles.
So they died, and this was defended.
Build wetlands.
This is consumed, and then we have nothing else.
Explore. Mountains.
Here we get one explorer, here we get two. And then we have a persistent explorer, let's add it here then.
Turn 3. Grow phase.
So we are at turn 3 now, and we can continue getting power cards, I think, because we do have some powers left to play. We don't want to reclaim, and we don't really need more energy for this turn at least. We still are at 2 card plays. We will open up fire, so we probably can hit the innate here. So let's get the power card. See what we can get here. Now we kind of want a defend card here because we do have a ravage up in the coast. Here we have defend, but it's not that much defend, and the others are not defend. We do have 2 with animals. This gather, push, isolate. This replace explorers with Tahan. And no one is really good, but what I do need is earth here, some earth, because we need 1 earth at least with this guy. So I can either play Herd the Lurking Maw here, or I can get Call to Guard or Gift of Niche Connection, I guess, to get that earth, and that way we can hit this. I think I'm going to want to play Gift of Furious Might here because this is earth and animal. I need that for this innate, and since fire is going to be opened up here, we will be able to hit that innate with Gift of Furious Might and just some earth. So let's take Call to Guard. I think this is 0 cost, and we kind of need to save up some energy here now that we start to get more card plays next turn. Let's add this one in here maybe, where it's going to ravage next turn. We want to be in the lands with invaders with this spirit. We have 0 range powers, and all of them need to be where the action are at. Let's do that.
Play powers.
And I think maybe we play Call to Guard here then. We can gather up to 1 Tahan, defend 2. It's not quite enough. He will have 5 damage incoming, and that is reduced to 3 damage with his defense. If we can find some defense here, we can take care of that city. I think we have to gamble a little bit there, and then maybe play Gift of Furious Might then.
Fast powers.
So let's gather 1 Dahan in here and defend 1 per Dahan. And this can do +3 damage, which means I can do this one with 5 damage here. So that should be able to take care of maybe this build here. This will be a little bit too much. We'll have city here and convert 1 explorer. Here we will have 2 towns and 1 explorer. So this will be enough to kill off those.
Event.
So we have Promising Farmlands. When exploring, once per board, place 1 town instead of 1 explorer. Okay, and then we have Beast Provoked. On each board, add 1 beast to a land without light that has town. So that is here or here. Maybe add it here, I think. During Ravage, in every land, defend 1 per Dahan in the land. So that is excellent. So we get 2 additional defense here. That will be enough so that it doesn't blight. Excellent.
Fear.
And Demoralized, defend 1 in all lands. Yeah, so we have even more defend.
Ravage. Wetlands.
So we have 2, 4, 5 defense, nothing goes through, and then 4 damage back. Great.
Build. Mountains.
And here we have a triangle trade city here, and it also converts to that explorer. And the triangle trade city means we have to add a town. Let's add it here maybe. And then we have a build here that is a town, and 1 explorer is converted into a town. Yeah, France is doing France stuff here, but that's okay.
Explore. Mountains.
So we have another mountain here, and now we have to remember Promising Farmlands. It adds 1 town instead of explorer, so that's 1 town and 1 explorer. And then we have Frontier Explorers. After setup, that doesn't apply, but we do have Persistent Explorer and an Escalation. For the Persistent Explorer, let's add an Explorer maybe here. And then we have Escalation, and that means 1 blight in one of these lands. And we don't want to add blight here, so let's add it here. And that's it.
Slow powers.
And now we do have this guy, we can do 5 damage, so let's take care of one of the mountains. I think it has to be here then. We have too much stuff in there, so let's move this one in here with the first thing here. And then we do 1 damage, 1 extra for special rule, and 3 extra from this. That's 5 damage. And that takes care of that land, because this will die in the Ravage next turn.
Turn 4. Grow phase.
Now I think it's time to reclaim, so that maybe we can hit the 3rd level here from the innate. I think we can do that if we have 3 energy, and we can play these fire cards here. And then we just need 1 earth, and then we can do that with Call to Guard. So let's reclaim, and let's add a presence somewhere where we do have a presence, maybe up here. Maybe we can move that in here. And then let's
Play powers.
Ferocious Rampage. This is a good power to play here. And then we have Gift of Furious Might to boost that up, or maybe boost up this innate, and then we need to play Call to Guard. Yeah, that should be the 3rd level hit here. So that's 4 damage from that one. We have 4 damage here, and we have 3 damage here. So that maybe is enough to take care of that land, or some of it at least. The question is, where do we want to play Call to Guard?
Fast powers.
This one we can play on ourselves and decide later which one we want to boost. We also need to keep in mind here we are going to have a slave rebellion here. So we have to think about where we can use that. We can use it here, or we can use it here. So we do have targets for them. Now Call to Guard, we don't really need to defend. This is killed anyway, and this is too much to defend. But maybe we can use this second effect here. After invaders are added or moved to target land, 1 damage to each added or moved invader. We can use that to take care of the Persistent Explorer. We can use it to take care of an Explorer or an Escalation. We can take care of a Triangle Trade City. Are we actually going to have a Triangle Trade City here with the build? So he will build a city here. That means he will add a town to one without town. So we can play it somewhere around here and take care of that extra town. And probably in one land that is empty then, that doesn't have an explorer. That way we can take care of the persistent explorer as well. So let's play that one in here. I think we don't want to move that Dahan. We can gather 1 extra Dahan, because this effect is only present if we have a Dahan. So let's move this Dahan in here, I think, and let's add Call to Guard here. And now, since we do have 1 damage here, but we also have the special rule, adds 1 damage, that means we can take care of both towns and explorers that are added here. So let's move on.
Event.
So we have the Slave Rebellion. Let's add a strife here, and then this one is dead, and we get a Dahan. So that's pretty much it. And then we have Remnants of a Spirit's Heart. A group of Dahan find a stony ridge with lingering blessings from an ancient mountain spirit. So let's see, do we have mountains? We have 1 mountain, 0 energy, but we do have 2 cards. We could actually just discard those and reclaim next turn to get the 4 energy worth of aid. I think I will do that. Let's do that. We have quite a cheap reclaim, so why not? That means we will have defend 4 for 1 future spirit phase on all lands. That's pretty good. But it also means we have lesser defend this turn, but that doesn't matter, we don't have any defend. So what we have else? For each land with beast and city, we do have that here. 1 fear, and destroy that beast. And then we have 1,000 small struggles. On each board with 4 or more, we certainly have that. And 4 or fewer, we don't have that. So let's move on.
Fear.
Discord. Each player adds 1 strife in a different land with at least 2 invader. So that is going to be not here. Let's add it here.
Ravage. Mountains.
So this explorer dies, and then we are 1 presence down. we have a blight here, and that should be it for the ravage.
Build mountains.
Now we have a city here, and we have a triangle trade city. That means we have a town. Let's add it here. That means the call to guard triggers. After invaders are added, 1 damage to each added or moved invader. And we get 1 extra damage because we have territorial aggression. So that kills that town immediately. Excellent. Do we have something else here? No, I don't think so.
Explore wetlands.
And we did get an explorer in the wetlands, so that's excellent. That means we have 2 explorers here, and then we have 2 explorers here. That means after invaders are added or moved, 1 damage to each added or moved invader, so they die immediately. So that is that, and then we have a persistent explorer. Let's add it here, and then it dies. And then we have stage 2 escalation. After exploring on each board, pick a land. Let's add a town here, I think, why not? And then this triggers, and that kills that town. So that really worked out for us. We have call to guard, 0 cost energy, and we killed a bunch of towns and explorers with that single power.
Slow powers.
And now we have the slow powers, and we do have 3 extra damage from this one, and this we can kill 4 things, 4 damage worth of. So we will be able to do quite a lot of damage here. But let's start with this one, I think. Let's move this explorer, this presence in here. And this should be 4 damage, and let's boost it with Furious Might, that is 7 damage. And then let's play Ferocious Rampage, that should be 1 fear and 4 damage. So it didn't quite kill everything, but we have only 1 town left to take care of.
Turn 5. Grow phase.
So now we can either gain a power card here, or we can reclaim. If we get a power card, we won't be able to get the 3rd level. No, maybe we get the 2nd level if we get a fire card. But we also need an earth. That's kind of tricky. Maybe we'll simply reclaim here, I think, and then just add that earth track, so that will be easier to get the innate going here. We have to add it where we have presence already. Let's add it here.
Play powers.
And now we only have 2 energy, so we have to be a bit conservative with energy here. We probably want to play Call to Guard. We probably want to play maybe Gift of Furious Might. And maybe that's Scout. This could be useful in this land. We have 3 Dahan in here, and this will be a lot of towns growing up here. That can take care of some of those. Call to Guard we can use here to defend from that Ravage. We can move in one Dahan in here, and then the Ravage will not cascade. And Gift of Furious Might can either boost Bat Scout, or we can do that on the innate. We can decide later.
Fast powers.
So we play this on ourselves, and we play Call to Guard here. We also want to gather 1 Dahan then. So let's gather this guy, I think, or maybe this guy. Maybe this one is better. We don't have need for the Dahan in there. So let's do that, and then move on to the next, the invader phase.
Event.
Gradual corruption. Add 1 blight to a land with building. We may prevent this if we have energy enough we need 3 energy. We don't have that, so we have to add a blight. Let's add it not here and not here. Let's add it here. Let's see what we get for blight card. Aid from Lesser Spirit. Immediately draw 1 minor power card. We may use it every turn, and we don't have to pay energy for it. That is quite a good card, especially now that we have this defend power that we can use anytime, and we do have a lot of defense powers. So I think we will keep this. We have the option to replace it when we play solo and only have 2 blight card, but let's keep that, and let's see what we can get here. We can draw 2 minor powers, and we can keep 1. And these are Not exactly what I want to see, but we do have 2 fear every turn, or we have 1 fear and 1 badlands every turn. This can also push. I think I will go with this one. And we have an earth here that can be useful. So let's take this one. And we can play it immediately. So that was that. Let's see, we were here, and then fatalities rise. In each land with disease, we don't have any disease. Each spirit may add 1 Dahan to one of its lands with Dahan. So we do have 1 land here with Dahan and 1 here. This one, we don't need more there, it will die anyway, so let's just add it here. So that's that. Let's go to the fear.
Fear.
Flee the pestilent land. We are at level 2. Each player removes up to 3 health of invaders from a land with disease. We still don't have any disease. Or 1 explorer from an inland land. So we can remove 1 of these explorers, but we are playing against France, so we cannot really remove them. We can just push them. Let's see, what are we going to do in the slow phase here? We have the death approaches. We have some extra damage. We have bats. We are going to play bats here. That will take care of 2 towns. And probably want to get rid of that city, I think. So if we play this one in here, together with gift, that should be 7 damage. So we have 6 worth there. So maybe if we destroy this one then, or remove this one and push it in here instead with persistent explorers. So that one will die from that effect, from our power here. And then we have defend 6 in all coastal lands. Invaders do not build cities in coastal land this turn. Doesn't really matter. We already had defend here.
Ravage. Mountains.
So this dies.
Build. Wetlands.
So here we have a town and 2 explorers are converted. And here we have nothing.
Explore. Coastal lands.
Here we have 2 explorers, here we have 1, here we have 2 explorers. And then after exploring, we have 1 explorer in the land without any. So let's add it here.
Slow powers.
Now we can use Bat Scout. We can do 4 damage here, killing 2 towns. Probably we should have used this first, but I don't think it matters. Let's add it here anyway. If we had used it first, it will do 1 more damage, but this still only do damage to buildings, so that's 1 more damage to this one if we do it in other order, but I don't think it will matter. And then we have this guy. This will be plus 3 damage and 3 damage and 1 damage from this effect. So that is 7 damage. We'll take care of that land. So that means we only have 2 towns left.
Turn 6. Grow phase.
So at this point we are going to want to play as much as possible. This one will die in the Ravage if we can defend. So we just need to kill that town and then we are good. But I think we are going to just play everything here and get energy. Open up this guy. Let's put this in here so that we can defend.
Play powers.
And we should have enough energy to play everything. We don't quite reach the last innate. We need 1 more fire, but that's okay. So let's see if we can pull this off somehow.
Fast powers.
This guy can defend 9. We don't want to scare away those to handle. So let's play it where we have presence. Only have Ravage in this land, so it doesn't really matter. Let's add it in here and push that down in here. We get 2 fear. And the rest is, well, this will defend 5 here. And then the rest is slow.
Event.
We are Blighted Island. On each board add 1 blight to a land adjacent to a building. We don't really want that. We only have 2 blight left. So let's destroy 2 presence. We have plenty of presence to destroy here, so it doesn't really bother me. Grim Toll. On each board choose a land with disease. We don't have that, so let's move on. During Ravage in each land, defend 1 per Dahan in the land. So we have more defend here, doesn't matter.
Fear.
Seek safety. Each player may gather one explorer into a land with buildings or gather one town into a land with city. So I think that means we can gather one of these explorers that will prevent one extra town that we want to build, because it will convert those explorers into town. So let's do that. Each player may replace one town with one explorer in a coastal land. So we can replace this guy. I don't think we want that though, because he's going to ravage, and that's one fear that we will not get done, but we don't have to do it. So let's just keep it, I think. Tall Tales of Savagery. Each player removes 2 explorer or 1 town from a land with the Han. So we can remove this town, and I think that's it, because this town will die from the ravage.
Ravage. Wetlands.
Yeah, this have plenty of defense. So that's it, yeah. We have no more towns and no more cities. And so that was Devouring Teeth Lurk Underfoot. Quite a fun little spirit here. I particularly like that his damage dealing power is 2+1 damage. That worked really well with Call to Guard. That was fun to see. We can use probably a lot of other minor powers together with this special rule. So it will be interesting to see in the next few matches how this teeth can handle England and Scotland. If you're up to it, see you next time. Bye for now.